on the tray.
All right.
We have a winner.
Yeah, we have a winner. I don't think we have prizes. That's okay.
Your winning is that you get to touch a fish. All right. Thanks.
Our next game is a pie eating contest. Now, we have one senior to represent, and we're going to need 3 more contestants. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Right there? Yeah, come on.
Austin!
Yeah, you. Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
Austin!
back? Yeah?
We have a senior. Hey, Olivia.
Oh, we're good. We've got enough.
There we go.
All right.
All right. I have fish on my hands, so you might want to open your own pie.
So I just have to eat.
Yeah, you're going to put your hands behind your back.
I can't even open the lid. That's how bad.
Yeah. All right, you guys have to introduce yourself. What's your name?
Zach. Austin.
Bridger.
Elijah.
Elijah.
These are our lovely pie eating contest contestants.
Do you guys all know how to do a pie eating contest? All right.
All right. We're
Go
going to
for
put
it.
our hands behind our back. No hands. And you got to get as much of that pie gone by the end of the timer.
Also, the fish smell isn't the pie. It was the fish that was just on the table. So
There's nothing bad in your
don't
pie.
worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's fine. It just it expires tomorrow. Yeah, you gotta eat
It's
the
a pie
pie.
eating contest.
How long? 2 minutes-ish? 1?
Yeah.
We'll tell you how long.
All right. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, they are getting in there.
Oh, man.
We purposefully chose red pies so you can tell who's winning.
Yeah. It's going to stain their face.
Oh, Austin, it's all over your necklace.
It's a good thing we didn't get girls for this.
I know. Messing up their do. Oh, Zach.
Elijah is representing the seniors right now.
So is Austin. How you feeling, Zach?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
They're feeling good.
Did you say the fish doesn't help? Oh, I think it's good. It's on my hands.
Okay.
So.
All right. Who thinks Elijah's going to win?
Who thinks Zach's gonna win?
Who thinks Bridger's going to win?
And who thinks Austin's gonna win? They are
All right.
going.
In 3, 2, 1.
Pies up.
Done.
Oh.
Oh.
I feel like we need some close-ups.
All right. All right. First up,
Oh, that's where it's supposed to go.
we've got Elijah.
Oh,
God.
it's okay.
The pie slid out of there.
We have Zach.
Zach,
I did pretty good. Nice.
Bridger,
And Austin. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Olivia, should we have the crowd vote?
yeah, let's have a
Oh,
crowd
God.
vote.
Okay.
I think
All right, who thinks Elijah
Crust is so
won?
good.
I think I ate the rest.
Who thinks Zach won?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Who thinks that Bridger won?
Oh. And lastly, who think Austin won?
I don't know. I think we have a clear winner here.
I think we have a clear winner as well.
All right. Bridger is our champ today.
Yeah, Bridger. Woo!
If you go that
I
way,
think it's rigged.
there's yeah.
Well,
I think it's rigged.
the crowd voted.
Yeah, but I won. I
Oh,
ate the most pie.
you can tell. Oh.
All right, that is the end of our games tonight.
Yes. So, if you guys have never been to one of our senior nights before, we love to make all of our seniors come together and just create a couple videos for you. So tonight we have 2 separate videos, and the first one is going to be all of our seniors talking about our favorite memories here at Mdwk. So here, watch the screens and enjoy.
My favorite memory was in middle school. We were playing running tic-tac-toe at winter camp. It was like the relay tic-tac-toe game. And one of the fellow boys got pushed into the wall and broke his arm. And it was just a moment I will never forget, and we all laughed. The boy wasn't laughing, but we all were laughing. It was hilarious.
In one of my last middle school camps, I had one of the greatest knit groups I had in a small group, and really was one of my first times I was extremely engaged in a small group and kind of changed the course of my faith journey because I had a lot of people in there that impacted me that I could also impact.
Last year at Mdwk, I would say that it really changed my life and really changed my perspective on God, and I'm very, very glad that I decided to go last year.
My favorite memory is when Tyler had a broken foot and he fell off the stage.
My favorite memory is a Good Friday, and the youth were putting on, worship night. And in one of the songs that came up was "Reckless Love of God," and I remember just hearing the lyrics, and I was in tears, and I felt the Lord speak to me saying, like, "I placed you here on earth for a reason." Well, fast forward 2 weeks later, I'm standing in the baptism pool with my dad right next to me to baptize me.
My favorite memory was getting to speak at Midweek because it allowed me to push myself out of my comfort zone, get closer with God, and allow others to get closer with God as well.
My favorite memory being here is definitely showing up and honestly just getting to know people and, surrounding myself around better people and getting to know people better, and mainly just building a better relationship with God.
My favorite memory from VRL is when my life group and I went ziplining, but we went ziplining in the dark. So we had light up neck or bracelets, and we had to stop. And when you stop, you have to move your head. But the brake had a light and the guy had a light, so I thought the guy's wrist light was the brake light, and I didn't move my head, and I basically got a concussion, and I was bleeding for the rest of the trip.
At CIY, there was hundreds of kids crammed in this one auditorium, all different walks of life, coming together just to worship the same God, like lifting all of our hands together as one and just celebrating the same God. And that, in that moment, the presence of God was insane, and I will never forget that moment.
My favorite memories here at Valley Real Life would have to be any of the amazing conversations that I've had with leaders or with other students or with any of the girls that I lead. They've just made for many breakthroughs and many amazing ways that God has shown up over the past few years.
My favorite memory was the giant slides at Riverview Bible Camp in middle school.
My favorite memory is when we were worshiping to Firm Foundation at summer camp of 2022, and I decided to give my life to the Lord, or the bananas from winter camp of 2023.
My favorite memory was this last winter camp when we had free time and we all decided to go downstairs in the chapel and worship, and it was just awesome because we did that on our own choice, and it was just awesome to see everyone worshiping with all their heart.
The summer after my freshman year, our CIY move was here. It was during COVID, and me and a bunch of my buddies, we all piled up in one car. There was probably 12 people in this little tiny car. We were just driving around, and then Tyler got mad at us.
My favorite memory is definitely when I decided to join house groups, and I didn't know anyone, and all of the girls and my leaders, they were super sweet to me, and they made me grow closer to Jesus and made me just take that next step with my faith.
You're not even getting any more information, just the bananas.
The bananas, they were great.
What's up, guys? Let's worship. Come on, come up to the front. Man, it's been so much fun. We planned this as seniors. We planned the song, so we planned a couple of songs. Some of you might not know them, but they're a couple throwbacks to what we did when we were younger. So let's worship together. Eyes wide, I'm set on you. You made a road in the wild, standing on ancient truth. I'm pressing on with my back to the past, and oh, let The young see visions of the future, and I sing, oh, let the old dreams ring. In my world, God do a new thing. I know you're moving. In my world, a chain reaction, a golden passion. Jump, 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 jump. Hearts seem to stride with you, bursting like
I fall in the space between what remains of me and this reckoning. Either way, I won't bow to the things of this world. And I know I will never be alone. There is another in the fire, sitting next to me. There is another in the waters, holding back the seas. Should I ever be reminded when power set me free? There is a grip that holds nobody. That power lives in me. There is another in the fire. Oh, 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 and I can see the light in the darkness as the darkness about to hit. I can hear the roar in the heavens as the space between where we stand. I can feel the ground shake beneath us as the prison walls cave in. Nothing stands between us. Nothing stands between us. There is no other name but the name that is Jesus. He who was and still is and will be through it all. So come with me in the space between all the things unseen and this reckoning. I know I will never be alone. I know I will never be alone. There'll be another in the fire, sitting next to me. There'll be another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever be reminded how good you've been to me, I'll count the joy from every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. And I can see the light in the darkness as the darkness bows to him. I can hear the roar in the heavens as the space between where we stand. I can feel the ground shake beneath us as the prison walls cave in. Nothing stands between us. Nothing stands between us. Another in the fire, sitting next to me. There was another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding how good you've been to me, I count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. You guys can take a seat.
All right, I'm already dropping things. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be talking to you guys today about just the things that I've learned and the things I wish I would have known over the past few years I've been coming here. So you don't only get to hear from me, but you also get to hear from two other seniors later tonight, Austin Rome and Lexi Aiken. Yes, okay. So, but for now, I am just gonna start to tell you guys a couple of stories about the time that I've been here. So for me, it all started the summer after 5th grade. So I always wanted to get involved in the church, and I always wanted to just have a better relationship with Jesus. And the summer after 5th grade, I had found a few friends from school who I wasn't super close with, but they went to VRO, and so I ended up going to camp with them at Riverview, I don't know. But yeah, and it was a great time, and I was genuinely on fire for the Lord. I was so excited to be there. I was so excited to go to youth group the next few weeks. And so I went home, and I started going to youth group with those same friends, and we went week after week, and they would drive me there. It was a great time, but then sports happened, and my friends had started their sports, and so they were no longer going to be coming. So there goes my ride, and there goes, well, now I'm left with the decision of, do I keep going and make new friends, or do I stop going because making friends is too hard? I, unfortunately, decided that I wasn't going to go because I was too afraid to be alone, and I was too afraid to stand in the corner and wait for someone to talk to me. So after that, I didn't come back until 4 years later. And so the only time that I came was on Sundays with my dad, and we came on a regular basis, except for summers, because, too much going on. But the problem was we would go to church right on time, and we'd leave immediately after, because my dad is not a social person. And so it didn't give me a lot of time to find anyone else in the church or get connected anywhere. So it just made it a little bit harder to find my community. And then fast forward to my freshman year, 4 years later, I had made a new friend at school, and she had said that she was going to youth group, and I was like, oh, cool, I really want to go. Is there any way I could tag along with you? And she was like, yeah, of course. So I'd meet at her house every day, and we would just ride together. We went to the costume party, whatever. We went for a few weeks, and then I had a falling out with this friend over a boy. Unfortunate. I know. Stupid. But it happens. I was a freshman, whatever. So we didn't talk for almost the remainder of the school year, because that was at the beginning of the freshman year. And then we ended up making up at the end of the school year, and we were fine. We weren't good friends, but we were fine. And that summer, I reached out to her, and I reached out to some other people who I knew went here. And I was like, hey, any chance you're going to summer camp? I'm really trying to go. And she was like, yeah, I'm going. You can tag along with me and my friends. All good. I got to be honest. It was super awkward. For a couple weeks, I felt really awkward because I was just a new kid. I feel like everybody knew exactly who their friends were. They were, they had their groups, whatever. And not to mention, this was the summer of 2020, so the seats are separated, we're all just together, but we're not really, together. And so it was move at the church, so it made it a little bit easier because it was not overnight, and it was in town, and it was just 3 days, so it made it a little bit easier to get to know the people who regularly attend. But yeah, it was a great time, and honestly, that was the point where I finally made my faith my own, and I actually made my relationship with God my own. I always believed in Jesus. I always loved Jesus. I always wanted to follow his commandments and everything, but I never had taken that on for myself until then. And so I started coming regularly from then on, freshman year, summer, to now. And honestly, like, it was amazing. But the common theme between all of these different times that I came and I went and I came and I went and then I quit and then I'm like, no, I guess I'll come back, was the fact that I had somebody to come with. It was the fact that I had reached out and I was like, hey, are you going? And they're like, yeah. And they let me come with them. That was so important to me because that was the only thing I was looking for. The only thing that was holding me away from a relationship or a better relationship with God was a person because I was too afraid to show up alone. So that is my encouragement, is that you will step out and you'll go to the events and you'll go to camp, you'll join a life group, you'll just show up every midweek, even if it feels awkward at first, because that's the first step, right? And I know a lot of you guys are already here. That's the first step. But the next thing is to talk to the people who've been coming here for a really long time. So I want you to hear that if you've been coming here regularly, on a regular basis, so you have a strong relationship with the Lord, and you have your friends here, maybe you have your friends here, but you're not necessarily willing to let other people in. It's tough, right? It's tough to invite somebody and be like, hey, you can hang out with my friends and I. Or it's tough to see the person in the lobby when we're waiting, or to come in here and waiting for the countdown to start. It's hard to want to let them in because sometimes maybe they don't fit in with your group, or maybe sometimes they're just a little bit different from you, or you don't know how to make conversation. It's whatever it is. It's so important because you could make the major difference in whether or not somebody shows up and whether or not somebody keeps coming. Because for me, and I'm sure for almost all of you guys, it was the same. It was someone invited you, or you reached out to someone, or you knew a friend, or your friend of a friend, and then you started coming, right? Something else I want to touch on is what it feels like when your community changes. Sometimes, maybe even you're coming for so long, and now your friends are like, oh, hey, by the way, I got sports, or I got other things, or I found a different church, or something happened there, and now I just don't really want to go anymore. And that's when you're going to be left with the decision of, do I want to, like, stick it out? Like, what's my motivation here, right? So that's when you get to decide if you want to let God change your relationships, because they're going to change over time. Because in my first time I ever came here, I came with a few friends from my elementary school. And sometimes I see a couple of them at school today, but I don't talk to them like I did before. And then the second time, I came with a girl I met my freshman year, and we were super close, and we would go every single week. And now I see her in math class, and maybe every now and then around the halls. But that's it. Like, it's okay, because that really led me to where I am now. And right now, I can tell you that God gave me a community, and He gave me what I asked for, and He gave me it better each time. Like, every time God took something away, or it felt like God was taking something away, He replaced it with something even better. And now I feel like I have the friends that will last me a lifetime. And even if they don't, I know God's going to replace it with something that's going to be better for the season that I'm in. So it's just so important to make sure that you can, first off, find a community, if that means stepping out of your comfort zone, or letting people into your community, or being okay with it changing a little bit. So, yeah, that's I'm saying. Community is so important because it'll change your relationship with the Lord, and He calls us to community. So, I don't know what season you're in, if your friends are changing, you're leaving, or you're just starting to come, but I really want to encourage you to be bold and take the risks and let people in, and I guarantee that somebody will be there. And I pray, and I just know that if you pray for it too, God will provide, because he cares about your community and he cares about you showing up and he cares about you having a great relationship with him. So, before I'm done, but before you guys hear from Lexi and Austin, we do have a couple other seniors that didn't have the chance to speak tonight, and you can hear from them now.
My biggest piece of advice is to just enjoy every moment of high school. It absolutely flies, so make sure you join everything you can and get involved as much as you can, especially at church.
The best advice I have is don't be scared to let God in. He has the ability to change so much, so I'd say definitely let him in.
My advice is to just show up, even if it's awkward or life is chaotic or anything like that. Showing up, you being here makes the difference. Midweeks, life groups, camps, if you're looking for something, you'll find it, but first you gotta show up.
My advice would be, we're all gonna stress, we're all gonna have anxieties and worries in life, and once you just realize that, like, this sounds cliche, but once you realize that you're not in charge of anything in your life and just give it all to God, really the weight that you feel lifted off of you is insane, and just realizing that, like, God is bigger than all of your anxieties and all of your worries, and that no matter if your biggest worries and your biggest anxieties, like, come to life or come true, that you're not ultimately in control. He's the one in control, and he's never not provided.
Surround yourself with friends, good Christian friends, because anytime you're having a bad day or a good day, any struggle that you're going through, you can just text them, call them, or actually meet them in person.
Why are you guys It's turning on. The batteries weren't in place. We got this now. How you guys doing? How'd you like Sahara? She did pretty fantastic, right? So guys, I have a question for you. Do you ever ask yourself, why am I here? Right? I tend to ask myself that a lot. Why am I here at school? Why am I at youth group right now? Why am I currently breathing air on this earth? But before I go any further, I'm going to be pretty honest with you guys. Tyler, you can tune out for a second. I spent a lot of time thinking about the perfect thing of what I could say to you, what advice I actually have that you guys should learn that is crucial to know. And I finished writing this at 4:49 today. That is the part Tyler doesn't need to hear. So my extreme lack of actually preparing for this, though, actually got me thinking a little bit, though. We have a purpose in life. Like that's a pretty basic idea, though, but honestly, if you guys don't hear anything else from me, you completely tune out from what I'm saying and ignore from what the rest I say, I want you to hear this. Hear this extremely clearly. You have a purpose. Now, turn to your neighbor right now. Yell out to them, you have a purpose. Turn to someone else. Say, you have a purpose. Sweet. I need to ask you guys questions. Say, I have a purpose.
I have a purpose.
Say, I have a purpose.
I have a purpose.
Say, I have a purpose.
I have a purpose.
One more person. Say, I have a purpose.
I have a purpose.
Sweet. Guys, you all have purposes. That is the extremely important thing I need every single one of you to know right now. So everyone say it one more time. I don't want you to say that. I want you to say something else. I want you to say something else. You didn't let me finish. Say, I am not worthless. So the times in my life that have been probably the hardest for me is because of that statement right there. Me feeling like I am worthless.
Me, the thoughts themselves, thinking I'm worthless. Whatever I do doesn't matter. Whatever I do is not going to make any difference. But I need you to say it one more time. Very quietly this time. I am not worthless. So, this cool book called the Bible, I like this book. It's a pretty awesome one. Now, in it, it has a pretty cool message. In Matthew 22, 34 through 40, it says a pretty interesting thing. Now, we follow Jesus right now while he's being, well, a savage to the Pharisees. The Pharisees were the religious law, for those of you who don't know. What he was saying was, teacher, a lawyer talking to him, what is the most important commandment in the law of Moses? Jesus replied, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments. Now, I want we to focus on that second one, where it says equally important as the first one. Love your neighbor as... Cool. What is that second word again? Yourself. You're supposed to love yourself. So, we are called to be and make disciples. We can't spread the word of God well unless we are being disciples ourselves. But don't ever let that mean you shouldn't love other people. Love, in my opinion, is one of the most important things about God. Now, I have a 7th grade small group. I say this to you guys. That is them. They are very loud sometimes. I want you guys to say this to me. I say this all the time. God is... Thanks, Elijah. Can you guys say that one more time? God is... God is... Why is God love? That's the big question. Love. That's a very interesting thing. Who has a person they love in their life? Your mom, your dad, your brother, your best friend, a girlfriend, maybe a boyfriend. So, he loves us, and he tells us we should love other people. And our purpose, we have a large purpose. He tells us, because we have a purpose, we are loved. Because other people have a purpose, they are loved. We are called to love them and ourselves, including ourselves. Yet we go out and hate other people. And again, including ourselves. Now, a wise dude, pretty smart dude, once told me, while I was going through a really hard time, I think this was around 8th grade-ish, Jesus went and died painfully for our sins and forgave you. Yet, you can't forgive yourself. Who do you think you are? Are you better than God? I'm going to say that last part one more time. Yet, you can't forgive yourself. Who do you think you are? Are you better than God? It's a pretty simple answer there. No, we're not better than God, yet we can't forgive ourselves when Jesus did, right? No, we don't only do it with ourselves, we do it with everyone around us, trying to find something that we can hate, something that is wrong with other people, something wrong with someone in our society. We love to say, I'm a Christian, and I love people, and I'm going to spread the word, but not that guy. Jimmy over there doesn't deserve love. Who loves Jimmy? He is a sinner. Hey, guess who else is a sinner? Everyone raise your hand. Good job. So guys, every single one of you is a sinner, yet you have purpose. We're all sinners. I'm going to say this one more time just so you guys can hear it. You have purpose. And if the person next to you is a sinner, should you hate them? If the person in your math class who bullies you is a sinner, should you hate them? When you are a sinner yourself, we are called to love our neighbor as ourselves. Nowhere does that say, but it says to love your neighbor as yourself, with no buts, no ands, nothing. There is an end of a sentence there. Now, I need you guys to come off with this. We have a perfect God who is represented by imperfect people. There are going to be people in your lives, in the church, outside of the church, everywhere in your life that are going to make your life harder and are going to make it so you don't feel loved, so you don't feel like you have a purpose. But I need to tell you this. I know for a fact every single one of you have a purpose. I know for a fact you are loved. I know for a fact your worst enemy is loved by God. So why can't we do the same? One of the biggest problems I ever see anywhere is that we can't love people, period. So why do we live in a world where love is absent? That's the big question I had to ask myself earlier today when I wrote this 2 hours ago. It's the big question I've been wrestling with for a long time. Why do we live in a world where love is absent? Now think of how that can change if you love one person in your life. I can tell you, it's not going to be perfect. People aren't perfect, imperfect people. But it will create an opportunity. So that's my advice to you. Go out and create opportunities by loving people. Thank you.
I would say my best piece of advice spiritually is to step out of your comfort zone and not just to sit where you're at, because God works through that in many ways. He'll bless that and He'll work through that.
My advice would be to really cultivate the relationship that you want to have with Jesus and really take your destiny into your own hands, because it's really like your life and it's what you want to do with it.
My advice would be to say yes to anything. Go be in a life group, go speak on stage, go host, go be on the worship team. Just say yes and see what God will do for you in your next journey.
My advice to others is to surround yourself with people that lift you up and make you feel like you can be yourself.
My advice is stay consistent with this and wake up every morning and show the love that God gives you and give it to others, because you never know when those people are going to need it.
Go and be yourself. To be yourself fearlessly and courageously and not change for anyone. The right kind of people will stick around and love you for exactly who God made you to be.
My advice would be to open your Bible, whether it's 2 minutes a day or 2 hours a day. It's just getting that word in is really gonna improve your relationship.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? All right. So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Lexi. I know it's been said before, but I am so excited to be hanging out with you guys tonight. I see lots of faces in the crowd, and I'm loving the energy tonight. I absolutely love it. And so if you guys don't know me, you might recognize me from around the church, midweek, or from school. I go to Ridgeline, and as a graduating senior, I was asked to share my greatest advice with you guys tonight. And as I have limited time tonight, I just want to get right into it. And it was a really tough to pick the topic tonight because, 4 years of high school and then so many years of school before that, there's so much that you learn there. But I had to look back on some of my favorite memories and realize, what was it that got me to those memories? What was it that made my experience here so special? And what was it that helped me grow my faith so much over my time in high school and in my attendance here at Valley Real Life. And it was the fact that I was able to be vulnerable. And so my advice to you guys tonight is that I hope you guys understand that there's so much power in vulnerability. And before I elaborate on that, I want to explain a little bit about what even is vulnerability, because I know it's like a big word or whatever. And vulnerability in the simplest terms, and the conclusion that I came to, is that it's letting your guard down. It's taking off that fake face that you put on, that everything is perfect face that a lot of us have on out of fear that we might be judged for not being perfect or anything along those lines. And a lot of the times, being vulnerable is scary, if not absolutely terrifying. And I will say that, and I know that all of you guys can probably agree with me. And so if being vulnerable is so scary and can be so difficult, then how is it so beneficial? And it's because vulnerability opens the doors to deeper connection and emotional intimacy with others. And we're beings that have been created by God with a deep longing and a deep desire to be fully known. I know a lot of you guys can resonate with this when I say we long to be seen and we long to be understood by others. And so that leads into my first point, which is that vulnerability leads to a closer relationship with God. And looking at vulnerability in the context of our relationship with God is actually so incredibly encouraging, because the amazing thing is that God already knows you. And I mean, he knows you. First of all, he created you, but second, you look anywhere in the Bible, open it up anywhere, and it won't take you long to find countless verses that tell you how much God really knows you. The Bible tells you that he created you, that he knows every desire of your heart, that he knows every hair on your head, and he knows everything that is breaking your heart. He knows you, and he loves you nonetheless, okay? And so now the thing that you need to do after understanding that God really fully knows you already is you need to let yourself be fully known and loved by God. And let me tell you this, it's tough. It takes surrender. It takes effort to talk to him and to let God in and to let yourself be vulnerable and to let God into your heart, to break down the walls that you have. It takes effort to embrace your brokenness and bring it and lay it at the feet of Jesus, okay? It's tough. Like I said, vulnerability is challenging. But let me tell you, you will be shocked and your life will be absolutely changed when you let your guard down and you just take that step and let him in. And so that leads also to my second point, is that vulnerability not only leads to a closer relationship with God, but it leads to a closer relationship with others, with those around us. And like I said before, we are beings who have been created to be known, to be seen, and to be understood. It's something that we crave, and it's something that without it, we live a very lonely life. And you can't form deep and meaningful relationships without letting your guard down and being vulnerable. And let me tell you, I've learned that the hard way, okay? It's tough to open up to people. But not only does vulnerability help you form relationships with others, it allows us to minister to others. And in turn, it helps others to minister to us. And so I know that everybody in this room tonight is dealing with something. They're struggling with something. There's things that are weighing on our hearts, and I know it because we're human, okay? And I know that every one of you can think of something that you might be struggling with tonight. And vulnerability is such a blessing because it allows us for the opportunity to know that we're not alone in these struggles. And if not that, we find out that we have people in our corner supporting us. And so some of my favorite memories, like I said before, that I've made here at Valley Real Life have been conversations that I've had with leaders or with my peers or with the girls that I've led at camps and at small groups. And these conversations would not have happened if one of us or the both of us wouldn't have taken that step to step out of our comfort zone and to be vulnerable, to let our guard down and to open up. And I've seen God work and I have seen God speak through these conversations and through these moments of vulnerability in some of the most amazing ways. And I know that my faith would not be the same, would not be even close to the same that it is now if I wouldn't have stepped out of my comfort zone and if I wouldn't have taken these steps to being vulnerable and opening myself up to relationship and deep, meaningful connection with other people and with God. So, with all of that said, my advice to you is this. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. And It looks different to different people at different stages in your life. It might mean opening up to somebody about your struggles, about something that is weighing on your heart tonight. It might mean simply sharing with others something that God is speaking to you lately, something encouraging that God spoke to you, right? Or it might just be answering the typical "how are you doing" question a little more honestly, okay? But when you take that step of vulnerability, no matter how deep it might be, that opens the doors for others to be vulnerable too. And I promise you, guys, I promise you that so many blessings will come from it. God will take that vulnerability, he'll take that step out of your comfort zone, and he will use it in ways you cannot imagine. And you'll be so surprised at how God can work through it. So with that, I'd love it if you guys went to God with me in prayer. Dear Lord, we just come to you in prayer tonight, and we just thank you so much for all of the blessings you have given us, Lord, for bringing everybody here. Lord, I thank you that everybody here tonight is here for a purpose. Lord, I pray that whatever is on these students' hearts tonight, that you would just help them embrace it. Lord, I pray that you would help them embrace the fact that they are so loved by you, that you have a purpose for them, Lord. I pray that you would help these students embrace the fact that they are brought here for a reason tonight. And Lord, I pray that throughout the rest of their high school, throughout the rest of their lives, that they would be able to run towards you, that they would be willing to step out of their comfort zone, that they would be willing to reach out to others. God, I pray that you would use these students in amazing ways that will bring glory for you, and I know that you have amazing things planned for them. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
All right, guys, we got 2 more songs left. Let's continue worshiping.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. And you came along and put me back together. And every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing, nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You
give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
All right, let's sing one more song. Let's go. People come together, strangers, neighbors, our blood is one. Children, generations of every nation, a kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear evil.
his children. Clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. Jesus, come on, sing it again. Swing wide, all you heavens. Let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All his children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens. Let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All his children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. Let the praise go up as the walls come down. Everything with breath, repeat the sound. All his children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in his blood. Jesus, Light of heaven, friend forever, his kingdom come.
Man, that was great. I just want to sing that chorus one more time. I feel the Spirit moving in this room. Let's sing it one more time. Come on.
Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in his blood. Come on, lift your hands. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, his kingdom come.
All right, you guys can have a seat real quickly. Let's give it up for our band one more time. It's fantastic.